Hi, this is Karen Williams, and today I am delighted to be interviewing Claire Brumby. Now, Claire started working with Librotas back in November 2017, and she had a real tight deadline for her book. She had an event in September last year that she really wanted to launch it out, and she pushed everything towards achieving it. And she also trained to do a relay swim across the channel at the same time. But I'm delighted that her book, The Winning Mix, and show us a copy, Claire. I know you've got it in your hand. And that was published in September 2018. So let me tell you a bit about Claire. Now, she founded a multi-award winning healthier snacking brand, and that led to her being invited to St James's Palace. Rubbing shoulders with royalties, she pitched on Dragon's Den, and well, you've been pictured with celebrities everywhere, because I know some of the pictures are in your book. And she's now a coach, a mentor, a speaker and a consultant. And she works with food businesses, both nationally, internationally, entrepreneurs, and those who, some of them are in startup and some of them are an established brand. So Claire, thank you so much for joining me today and for being part of this interview. I love talking to Librotas authors and people that have achieved something so amazing.
No, thank you for inviting me along. I always love to talk about my book. It's still quite new to me. It's only been out 4 months, although obviously I've lived and breathed it for a whole lot, including from the writing process, but also including, the journey which is in the book. So so it feels like it's been here forever. I can't remember life without it now. It's like
Definitely. So tell us all a little bit more about your book, why you wrote it, and your passion for getting this message out there.
Yeah, so I founded, as you've said, my own multi-award-winning snacking brand back in 2012, and I found the journey really, really challenging and really, really hard at times. I then started working with other entrepreneurs in a coaching and mentoring capacity, and I realised actually there's a lot in my story that can help those people, and I just thought it felt like it needed to be out there to help other people that the struggles they're going through, they're not alone in. The challenges they face, we all face them, and actually to really lift the lid and give a warts and all account of actually how hard it is, but actually that you can get through all these things. So that's really what's in my book. It's a little book of encouragement. It's a book of a useful resource, a how-to guide. It's got everything in there you need to launch and grow your food business, as it says, without soul. So
fantastic. So what I love about your book, Claire, is that in every chapter you've got an 8-step process. Every chapter it tells you a little about your journey when you were going through that part of the step, the system, what you were going through, and then you go on and share your best tips and the things you wish you had known. And that's interesting. So I was just talking to a client earlier about the things that she wished she had known when she was going through difficult situations, and I think it's about sharing wisdom in that way, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. That's exactly how my book is structured. The first bit of every chapter is my story. The middle bit, how-to guide, one of the 8 steps, and then the end is what will Claire do now. The end of every chapter is where I look retrospectively back. Some things I changed because there was nothing to change at the time, given the resources I had and the challenges I was facing. Other times, which is how I can guarantee to save people time, money, and sanity. Because one element of those is something that I probably would have changed at one of the steps to have set up one of those elements, really.
So what inspired you to actually write it and spend that time sort of reliving some of the experiences you've gone through?
Some of the experiences were really hard to live through again, but like I say, I'm so passionate about helping others. Like I say, it all really stems from me finding it so difficult at times, and certain things I didn't have to have found so challenging, so difficult, because the answers are out there, and I really wanted to be that person to mentor and coach and bring those answers to people, because a certain thing, if you're not the type of character that can push through certain tough times, or you find that resilience, then you're maybe not going to continue in your business. But actually, just with a little bit of a tweak or a little bit of support or a little bit of guidance from somebody like me, actually that product can then find its place on the shelves, because people can get through that challenge that they're facing. They just need that little bit of help. So I just wanted to be that person who could do that, because if I could have found somebody like me all those years ago, do you know what, I've been over the moon ecstatic. And it's that real passion and drive that inspired me to write it and get it out there, so I can then be that person for other people.
Fantastic. And I know you do that all the time, don't you? You work with food businesses, you work with entrepreneurs who have that passion just like you had when you started out.
Yeah, absolutely. They just need that direction. They just need that help, that bit of hand holding, and that support. That's what it's all about. So I love
and no holds bars. That's kind of your approach, isn't it? You do it.
Yeah,
You say as it
if
is.
you're doing it, you're in for a penny, in for a pound.
Lovely.
All in.
So writing the book, what would you say has been your biggest challenge on that journey of writing it over that 10-month period?
So the big, I think I'm my own worst enemy. I know I'm my own worst enemy. I was too impatient at times. I literally at times couldn't type fast enough to do the dump from my brain onto the page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then times I would be overwhelmed with what was in my brain, and I couldn't actually. Sometimes no words would come. I remember jumping on some calls with you, Karen, and I had the most crazy mental blocks sometimes for no reason. So I would ebb from having a mental block where I needed you to say just write anything, because I'm such a perfectionist. I wanted it right from the off. Sometimes there was that many words that I couldn't keep up with myself, and other times I just was frozen into I can't do this. So I had equal challenges of both degrees, actually.
And how did you find that working with my team and myself on your book actually helped you to get it out there and get it done within that timescale?
Yeah, well, it gave me the focus, it gave me the deadline, and as you mentioned earlier, I was training to swim the channel in the relay team at the same time. You know what?
How you did that, I don't know, Claire.
And looking back, I don't know, Karen, at all. I think crazy lady. But no, it was all good. The book got launched and the channel got swum. So,
but
no. So the way that you helped me and your team helped me, you helped bring the focus. You helped keep me on the path without going off on a tangent. Because as you are writing, other things pop into your head, and I could have seen quite easily where I could have gone off course. And thought, oh, do you know what, this would be good, or this would be good. And so it helped to have that focus, it helped to have the accountability, it helped to have the deadline, and it helped to have somebody who'd actually been through it before. Because at times you do feel like you're going a little bit crazy, and you want to understand, are these emotions, challenges, feelings that I'm feeling what anybody else has been through, and because I could stand that off with you. Yeah, I knew I wasn't going crazy. Yeah, I knew I wasn't going insane, and yes, I knew, it was doable what I was trying to achieve. Because so you just need all that, really.
It's like reassurance, isn't it, that you're not the only person going through that sort of experience.
Yeah, exactly. I needed to know if it was normal or not. Whenever faced with a certain aspect of the challenge.
Fab. So you launched your book at the Speciality and Fine Food Fair early September 2018. What would you say have been your biggest successes so far?
Okay, so the biggest success, do you know, it's quite a few actually. Now I'm
reel them off, please.
So, first of all, I got to number 2 in the Amazon charts in 2 different categories, which I was so proud of, because I actually had a look earlier, and the same people who were at number 1 back in September are still now. So they're never going to be shifted. One is Phil Knight, the Nike story, and there's another one to do with the economy. So I'm never, I was never going to shift those. So to actually get number 2 to such esteemed people and books and authors and stories, I was like blown away. So that was huge. I was so chuffed with that. But then last week I got notified that I've been I'm a finalist in the Business Book Awards in the specialist book category. So the finals are in March. So that's another massive achievement, to even be a finalist in such a prestigious award. So so that's, I would say, the 2 main ones really, to achieve the best-selling status where I did in the different categories and the awards.
And what would you find, what have you found has been the biggest impact that your book has made to you and your business so far, and your clients and your readers as well?
So I think what it's done for me, it's actually, because when you're the kind of person who just keeps going on in your business and in life, actually just going on doing something, you don't really step back and say what you've achieved, or actually look at the knowledge you've got, or actually just really understanding the expertise that you have. And when you put that down in a book format, and you read it back and you look at it, you think, actually, there is a lot that you probably would have maybe forgotten, because you go at the speed you go in life, you're in danger of forgetting certain things that you've achieved, and thereby what you can help people with that knowledge. So it was good for me personally to put all that down, because it's there, it's a record of and it's actually my go-to when I'm helping my clients now, because that's the process I follow to help them. So in terms of me, that's how it's helped me. In terms of my business, it's really helped put me on the map as the go-to expert. You know, people are really understanding that actually, you know, this is the person to go to. So that's amazing. And in terms of my clients, what it gives them, so all my clients, I send them my book to read, you know, before we embark working with each other. And what it gives to them is, it kind of gives them an open door to me, because my heart, soul and everything is in this book. And they get an understanding of who I am as a person, how they can work with me. And it takes those barriers and those walls away, so we can instantly start working so closely with each other. And I'm finding my clients are loving that, because, you know, we don't have to do the dance around each other. You know, we're straight in, and that saves, again, for them, time, money and sanity in their business right now, because we can hit it off from the off. We're straight in there. So it's a benefit for absolutely everybody involved around me, actually.
And do you ever find that you're reading your book and you go, oh, I didn't realise I wrote that, or you sort of, you think it's written by someone else because you forget that you've written it?
I did that when I got my test copy through, and I did that off the scale excited video that everybody can find. You know, the unveiling. It was like, and actually when I read the whole book, and again, like I say, sometimes I've got probably about 3 or 4 copies dotted around the house, because I'll pick one in a bit of work and I'll leave it, and then I'll think, oh no, do you know what I mean? I'll get another copy. So yeah, when I read it all back, I was reading certain bits and I thought, wow, that's really good. Did I write that? I must have been in a really good inspirational zone of my brain, you know. And that's what I mean. It's all about pulling out what is already in there, pulling it out into one document. So I do read it sometimes and think, that's not bad.
So if you were giving advice, I know your book is very much giving advice to the younger youth, that's focusing on the things you wish you had known. If you were giving advice to other people embarking on this journey right now, maybe they're in the early stages of writing a book, what advice would you give them?
I would say, why haven't you already done it? You know, get on and do it. Like, I should have done it probably a year sooner. I really should have done. So I think it's just to do it. You know, we can all put obstacles in our way. I can't afford it. I haven't got the time. I've got to work on my client work. I can't do the juggle. You know, sometimes I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, write for a couple of hours, then crack on with the kids on my client work, then do a little bit more later on, maybe go for a swim, do my training, come back. Do you know, it's all about apportioning your time. So for anybody to say that I haven't got the time, you know, I wouldn't really take that on board. You can find the time, absolutely you can. When you chunk it down, sort of like 40,000 words or 50,000 words, the way I approached it through your advice, Karen, was to say, right, okay, I want to get it written in 90 days or 100 days or whatever that deadline was, 40,000, 50,000 words, break that down to what you feel is achievable in the day. And then some days I admittedly didn't achieve that, but I would carry the word count over. So it's all about being organised. Really making a commitment both to yourself and, you know, I think, look beyond yourself with it, actually. Like, I was desperate to get this book out there because I know how many people it can help. So on the days when I was maybe having a wobble where I don't know, the words seemed like I couldn't achieve them, or the swim training felt more important at the time or something, you know, I would look to the why. And the why was, actually, there are people out there that I would be doing an injustice to if I didn't write the book and get it out there, because I know how much help I can give them. So it's all about looking at your why, really, and just being disciplined, you know, making a commitment, making the time. And when I got shortlisted in the book awards last week, this time last year, my book wasn't even written. We'd had our meeting, hadn't we, Karen? We met up in London and we mapped it out that day. And last week I sat on this settee, actually, and I was sat here and I thought, do you know what, Claire, this time last year you hadn't even written your book, let alone edited it, designed it with Sam, gone through the publishing process. And that's just like crazy to think. So, you know, I would say you've just got to do it. However you do that, in time wise and finance wise, you must do it, because it will just haunt you forever. And another year will pass, and you'll think, why haven't I done it? So
it is life changing, isn't it? And I know it's life changing in terms of, you know, the commitment, the focus you give and the priority you make it. But I think one of the you know, I often talk to clients about, you know, how do you best write your book, and you're very much the person who would get a certain number of words done per day, whereas many people, many clients, and I'm like this as well, I much prefer to write in bigger chunks of time, but what worked for you was getting up before the kids got up, getting some words done and having that achievement before you started the day.
Yeah, definitely. It was the word count that did it for me, not the time. Because I didn't work in a time, although I chunked my time down in time, obviously, get up at 5, write by 7. I knew I wanted to achieve a certain amount of words in a certain amount of time. So if I'd said to myself, okay, I've got 3 hours to write here, I knew how many words that I was going to try and achieve. And sometimes, like I said, it flowed really fast. Sometimes I leave my desk and actually think, wow, I've done so many words in that chunk of time. And then other times I'd sit there banging my head for maybe half an hour and no words would flow. So me, it was the discipline of the actual word count that mattered. Because you know, the time didn't really correlate from one day to the next of how many I would achieve in that set time. So
it was a good measurement, isn't it? Whatever way you choose to measure, it's a good measurement of actually going, okay, so
you do, because you're just going to flounder, because it can, you know, I remember at the beginning, and I think I emailed you actually that I'd done 1,000 words, so I'd nailed my little intro, and I was like so happy because I'd actually in my mind broken its back, because I'd started, you know, I was, and then, but then you get sort of halfway, maybe about, I don't know, 20,000 words, 25, and you think, gosh, I've got so much to do still. It feels a little bit daunting. But then what I would do, which it was both good and bad, I would read it back, and that was good, but then the perfectionist bit kicked in, and I'd want to start editing, and I know now that I wasted a little bit of time doing that, because I shouldn't have reread, because like I say, perfectionist syndrome kicks in, and you can think, right, okay, I want to change this, I want to change that. But it was good in some respects that I would read it and think, do you know what, you've come this far, Claire, just crack on that little bit more. So yeah, it's the process is I think it's unique for absolutely everybody, isn't it? But it is like,
everyone's different,
life changing in every way.
Fabulous. So Claire, tell us a bit more about how people can buy a copy of your book, because I know it's aimed towards food businesses, but I learned so much from you. You know, for me it's a must have on your bookshelf for any entrepreneur. So how can people find out more about you and also find out about the book?
Right, okay, and you are right in that, you know, a lot of people who've left the reviews. So currently I'm sitting at 33 5-star reviews on Amazon, which is where you can buy it. So if you just go on to, best port of call is to start with my website, which is clairebrumby.com. And then from there you can find the links to the book, which is available on Amazon. You can also order it from Waterstones and, you know, a whole host of other places.
Thousands of bookstores worldwide.
Actually, as an aside, I've been quite surprised at the uptake that I've had in America. So you can buy it on Amazon.com as well as Amazon.co.uk. But in terms of the who it's aimed at, yes, it's a how to launch a food business guide. But I've had quite a lot of the reviews, as you'll read if you go in and have a look, to say it's perfect for any entrepreneur on their startup journey, because a lot of the lessons and a lot of the advice and a lot of my little diamonds, which are my nuggets of inspiration sprinkled throughout the book, they're applicable to absolutely any entrepreneur's journey, be that a product, you know, a food product or any other product actually. So so on social media, I am at Food Guide Claire. My Facebook group is just about to launch, so it'll be launched by the time it's out. So that is the Foodpreneur Coach. So Food Guide Claire, the Foodpreneur Coach, clairebrumby.com, go on amazon.co.uk or .com, Waterstones, and if all else fails, email
just Google
me.
you.
clairebrumby.com.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and it's been a delight to work with you, and it's been a delight to see your book come out, and I just wish you so much success in the Business Book Awards as well, and let's keep everything crossed.
Yes, thank you. And likewise, Karen, do you know what, I couldn't have done it without you. I really couldn't. You know, you've seen me at my wobbly times, and I had a lot of wobbles, let's be honest. So thank you so much. I'm forever grateful, and can't praise you and all your team high enough. Really can't.
Thank you so much, Claire. Thanks a lot for joining me today.
Thank you.